I'm Amy. This is Mike. We're the co-founders of Houndr. Show of hands, how many people love dogs, have a dog, follow dogs on Instagram? Yay! How many people have knocked on their neighbor's door lately? Yeah, see, exactly. Right. So Houndr's a platform that makes it easy for neighbors in cities to help each other out with their dogs. It's a bit of good old-fashioned neighbors helping neighbors, except updated for modern times, since we're not knocking on each other's doors anymore. This is definitely an unconventional take on dog care for anybody who kind of follows that sort of thing. It's as much about finding a supportive community of neighbors as it is about our obvious collective obsession and love of dogs. So we know that neighbors in cities are disconnected. There's a lot of great literature on this coming out. Even the Toronto Foundation recently said that 70% of people don't know any of their neighbors. It's clearly also, show of hands here, I mean, how many people know their neighbors? Great. Well, that's encouraging. But you're not knocking on each other's doors, so that's kind of the missing piece here. We know that people want that. We know that people just need a reason to connect regularly. I know we're probably preaching to the choir here. You all just met your neighbors. But dogs hold a ton of potential to connect us day to day. So we went about figuring out how to go about connecting neighbors day to day. Neighboring needed a ton of updating for modern times. Like I said, we're not knocking on each other's doors. We have literally tens of thousands of neighbors. We have busy lives. We like to connect digitally. So that's more or less what Houndr sets out to do. So Mike's got the app open. I guess you can see it now. So the word Houndr, I mean, it's hound, but also the act of hounding is the act of finding. So Houndr's really about finding a way to find your neighbors. So we find you your neighbors. It's rooted in, are you connected? Can you see it? Pause the timer. I don't want to lose time to this. But I can talk a little about it. So again, it's, got it? Yep. Okay, so it's rooted in really simple asks and offers. In this scenario here, so you can either ask for a hand with your dog or you can offer to hang out with your neighbor's dogs. We're gonna ask for a hand with our super cute chocolate lab, Lilu, who couldn't be with us here tonight. She is hanging out with a neighbor currently. So this could be for any kind of situation. You're running late, you're stuck at work, you're hungover, you've got errands to run, there's an emergency, there's all kinds of reasons that we need help with this kind of thing. But it's really hard, again, to connect with neighbors when you need each other. So Mike's gonna put in all the details. You put in the day, you put in the time. He's gonna pick flexible time. So this is like 2 hours or 3 hours in the evening. Thinking, again, you're connecting with neighbors, so this isn't like a strict deliverable. You're gonna have a conversation with people about what it is that you need. So he inputs all those details, the cost autofills. So we have set prices, the idea being, we don't need people trying to make money off of this necessarily. It's an act of generosity, so we keep the cost really low. It's more akin to thanking someone with a cup of coffee. Definitely no one is here for the $5. So he adds the note. The note's really important. It kind of sets a context. It lets your neighbor know who you are and what you're looking for. And, people want to be helpful, but they need to know what it is you need help with. So he's adding that little note there. And then from there, we're going to go knock on doors. So this is really the biggest feature of the app, which is that we go and knock on doors so that you don't have to. You essentially put out the request. Oh, did we lose the app again, Mike?
Oh, we have a connection issue here. 1 second, sorry.
So the request goes out, and we basically do the knocking on your neighbor's doors. You simply say whether or not you can help. You say yes or no to the request. We prioritize asking people that you already know and are comfortable with, so people in your circle, as well as kind of spreading it out more broadly to your neighbors. But there's no DMing, there's no searching, there's no reviewing schedules or texting people for favors. We just go and find people for you. Some of them you'll know, some of them you'll want to get to know, in the same way that you come here and meet new people and it's exciting and you start to build up a community that you can count on. And it's not meant to feel transactional. Everything about the app is meant to feel really fun and approachable. You can kind of see that in a lot of the language. And you start to see who said yes to help you out. We limit the list to 5 people, so you get 5 yeses, and then you can pick among those 5 yeses. The thinking being like decision-making fatigue, you don't like need 15 responses. And from there, you confirm.
I did already.
Great. And then you can start chatting, setting up the specific details. And then truly you just go and meet people. Go and connect in real life. Make sure it's a good fit with your dog. Make a new friend. Get to know somebody. And ultimately, we want people to use Houndr to get off the internet. That's maybe a little bit of an unconventional thing to say, but it's definitely true. I think we've kind of lost that in real life community. And again, a sense of knowing our neighbors. And so the app is more of a utility than anything else. It's like a means of making that connection and finding who you need to know and then going out there and connecting with them. So we hope that people find that support, that they find a community, that they start to think of their neighbors as nice people and not creepy strangers, which people often think. And the one thing I actually didn't mention is that on the flip side, people are donating their money to dog rescue. So most people are, again, not interested in making the $5 or the $10, and they're giving all that money to dog rescue. So on top of that, you get to support a great cause. And dogs live their best lives. Well, we're at TechTO.
Before I open up the questions, thank you, Amy, Mike, for putting up with technical difficulties. That's part of the problem with a live demo.
So I'm fine with
Yeah,
that.
so now we're going to open up the questions. Remember, no questions about your business model. I'll ask the first question. And is this live, and which neighborhoods are you
I
seeing
have a
traction in?
question, sorry.
Forget your question.
You can get to mine later.
It is live. You can find us just on iOS. We're not on Android at the moment. You can find the link on gethoundr.com. Thank you. Yes, it is out.
Okay, so my question is, can you see the history of whoever you're selecting to watch your dog, like whether they've watched other people's dogs? Is there like a review system that you can see whether they're trustworthy?
Yes. Yeah. So reviews are always mandatory, which I guess I forgot to mention too.
That always happens. That happens usually, well, at the end of the session, we call it. Once you've returned the dog or your session's over, then you get the chance to review. If you're the person looking after the dog, you get the chance to review the dog. And on the flip, you actually review the dog. And on the flip side, the person gets to review the other person as well.
We also have a system called vouching for one another. So you can also kind of go in and see what neighbors have vouched for people. So we're trying to build in as many ways as possible into the app of making people feel comfortable. Again, kind of getting over that barrier of thinking that people are creepy or you're not sure about them, and making you feel comfortable with people around you. Yeah. Sure.
Sorry.
Can you repeat the question?
Pardon?
Repeat.
Repeat the question. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, at the moment we don't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good question. No, it's a good question. And right now, the way we're looking, again, we're very early stage. We are looking into things such as insurances, hopefully never to the point where your dogs die, but if anything were to happen, we can cover you on that point. But at this point, we have it part of terms and conditions, which unfortunately we have to do, where it's between yourself and your neighbor that's looking after the dog. So it would have to be communicated to yourself, and then hopefully it's just a vet visit, and then it would be discussed and taken care of that way.
Yeah, so, sorry, this is really loud. So quick question, regarding for example, I know it's like you're only assigning to one specific person for one specific dog. What if it's like multiple dogs, the same owner?
Right now, we only allow people to have up to I guess you could say, 2 dogs looked after. Because again, this isn't about making money, it's about looking after your dog. So if someone has 2 dogs, they can get help from someone that doesn't have a dog. So we kind of set it up that way so you're not looking after 5 or 6 dogs at once. Again, it's not about that, it's about helping your neighbors, getting the help when you really need it. So we want to limit that. That's what we have done right now.
From a legal perspective, unless you're a registered dog walker, you're actually only allowed to have 3 dogs at a time. So that's kind of the rule that we stick by. But again, it's really about that one-on-one connection between people and dogs.
Great.
Versus making money and taking care of dogs.
Well, thank you so much, guys.